What's up, guys? I'm doing another Xbox One X video, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys my 100% honest review of the Xbox One X. And I just kind of want to point it out there that I am a huge Xbox fanboy through and through. I loved the original Xbox. The 360 was amazing. I love that. And then the original Xbox One is amazing. And yeah, so I am absolutely in love with Xbox, but that doesn't mean that I'm absolutely partial to them. I do own a PlayStation 3. I own a PS4 and a PS4 Pro, so I have 3 PlayStation consoles. I have a PC. I don't really game on it, but I recognize that PC is superior. I mean, in hardware and stuff. But I mean, that's a topic for a different day, and I'm really thinking about doing a video about the Xbox One X versus a PC, and just kind of doing like price versus performance and stuff like that. So if you guys want to see that, leave a comment down below. But yeah, so my review of the Xbox One X. So straight up, I'm gonna say right off the bat that I love my Xbox One X, and it is amazing. So the Xbox One X was originally called Project Scorpio. That's what its code name was, and that's clear back in like 2016 when at E3 and stuff, and before E3, like that's what it was going to be called. And then we had all the news and stuff that it was going to have 6 teraflops of GPU power, and then it took a year and a half before it finally released. But hey, then the Xbox One X finally released, and boom, here we are today, where it changed to the Xbox One X instead of Project Scorpio, just to kind of keep that branding. But they did make, a nod to the Project Scorpio, and they released a special edition, Project Scorpio Edition console, which I do in fact own. And I specifically wanted to get the Project Scorpio Edition, and so I ended up getting it. But that was their like little nod to that. But yeah, so the Xbox One X is $500, and my review for it is, I think it's a great console, and it definitely is future-proof a little bit. And I think that if you have a 4K TV, you should definitely invest in an Xbox One X. If you don't have a 4K TV and you're planning on getting one, then you definitely should still, get an Xbox One X. And even if you're just kind of content with a 1080p TV and you're not really worrying about upgrading, I still say buy an Xbox One X. Because the difference an Xbox One X makes compared to an original Xbox One is astounding, and it's basically the equivalent of a whole like console generation leap. Like the technology in it is basically about the same amount of jump from like the 360 to the One, and then the One from the One X. But you can still play all your One X game or your regular One games on your One X. So it still uses the same library of games, same controllers, same accessories, everything, and you can still have your backwards compatible games and all this stuff on them. But it just is more powerful and can run games way better. So I'm going to kind of compare it a little bit to my PlayStation 4 Pro. So I did a review of that console when that came out, and my kind of verdict on the console was, yeah, it's a great console, and if you have like a 4K display, then yeah, you might want to pick it up. But if you're a 1080p owner, there's no point. If you might, pick up a PS4 Pro, or if you might pick up a 4K TV down the road, I was like, you might as well not spend your money on a PS4 Pro until then, because at that point, PS4 Pro did not have super sampling, so 1080p TV owners, they got no difference between a PS4 Pro and a regular PS4. Like, sure, like, eventually it came along boost mode, which took a while as well, but right out of the box, there was no difference. And it was like, you had some games that actually took advantage of it, but since there was no super sampling, all the resolution, all these other upgrades, you couldn't take advantage of. So the PS4 Pro for me was basically an investment in my future, because I wanted to, I wanted this upgraded hardware and to make better videos. And I'm like a quality geek, but I wanted it, but I didn't end up, really recommending it to anybody. Whereas the Xbox One X, on launch, the Xbox One X has this boost mode, quote unquote, that PlayStation and Sony have. It has super sampling, and all these came straight out of the box. So you didn't need updates. So from day one, you're able to play all of your same Xbox One games, better like frame rates, so you would take advantage of this more powerful hardware. and you are also able to play these Xbox One X enhanced games, the ones that run at like 4K. Even if you don't have a 4K TV, it would still render every game at its highest resolution. So say Call of Duty World War II, for example, runs at like 4K if you have a 4K TV on the Xbox One X. But even if you don't have a 4K TV, it'll still render the game at 4K. It'll just downsample it to 1080p, so it super samples it, still rendering the game at a higher resolution, and it still looks way better. And it's just fantastic, and it is just amazing. But now that the PlayStation 4 Pro has that same like feature set, I would still recommend the Xbox One X over it, because that extra $100 that you'd spend on like a $400 PlayStation 4 Pro versus a $500 Xbox One X, it gets you vastly superior hardware. So the Xbox One X has a lot more games that actually reach 4K, like native 4K, not upsample, not checkerboarded or anything like that, not 1800p, but full fat 3840 by 2160, no fooling, native 4K. It has way more games that actually can hit 4K, even 60 frames per second, than the PlayStation 4 Pro, and so it's vastly superior hardware. Sure, it does cost $100 more, but hey, you have more superior hardware that if you have a 4K TV, you can actually play 4K games. Instead of the PS4 Pro that's like 1440p or 1800p, this is like 1800p or actual 4K. So, you get better quality games, higher frame rates in those games. You get higher frame rates in older games. So say a game like, I'm just going to throw out, since we do Call of Duty on this channel, say Advanced Warfare. So if you play Advanced Warfare on the Xbox One X versus the PS4 Pro, it'll run at a higher frame rate on the Xbox One X because it's more powerful hardware than, the PlayStation 4 Pro. So unenhanced games will still run way better on the Xbox One X. Multi-platform games will run better since it's superior hardware. And it also includes a 4K Blu-ray player in it too, which is really interesting because Sony owns Blu-ray. Like, the technology of Blu-ray is owned by Sony. Yet Sony didn't put a 4K Blu-ray drive in their PlayStation 4 Pro. Like, it's supposed to be a pro console, but it doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray drive. And like, the Xbox One S even has a 4K Blu-ray drive, and you get one of those for like $200 right now. So it's like, how does this like $200 console have a 4K Blu-ray drive and the PlayStation 4 Pro doesn't? Like, it makes no sense. So basically, for that extra $100, you get more powerful hardware and a 4K Blu-ray drive. So it's kind of the opposite of what happened when the original Xbox One came out, where it cost $100 more than the PlayStation 4, but it was weaker hardware. So that was one of the arguments people had against the original Xbox One, was that they're like, why would I pay an extra $100 so I can be spied on with Kinect, so I can't play used games, and why would I pay $100 more for weaker hardware? Well, now it's the opposite. You're paying $100 more for more powerful hardware. And that's the trade-off you got to make. So you got to kind of look at this as kind of the future a little bit, because today, I mean, there's definitely like still, it's definitely worth it today, but in the future, it's only going to like get a wider and wider and wider gap in between these consoles, and the Xbox One X is only going to get better and better and better. So the Xbox One X will only get better than the PS4 Pro over time. So the Xbox One X will have higher frame rates in games like 1 to 2 years down the road over PlayStation 4 Pro. And I mean, overall, it's just way more worth it than the PlayStation 4 Pro. And yeah, I just think in general, it's an amazing console. It's got that 4K Blu-ray drive that the Xbox One X has, or S, and it's just an amazing console. And like right now, I love playing games on it over my PlayStation 4 Pro. Like, PS4 Pro looks great, but I mean, it doesn't beat the Xbox One X in like any scenario. The Xbox One X will always dominate it because of the more powerful hardware. And if you're just an owner of an original Xbox One or a One S, you're definitely going to see the difference. Like, even myself, where I was kind of like, I really do notice a lot of the difference between games. So like, say a game that ran at 900p versus 1080p, I noticed that difference. But with the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro, I didn't notice that difference too much. It wasn't really there. Whereas the Xbox One to the Xbox One X, everybody would be able to see that. Like, it's so obvious that even like the most casual gamer is gonna be like, wow, this looks fantastic. Whereas if you have a PlayStation 4 Pro, you might be like, it looks a little bit better, but I can't really tell. So yeah, there you guys go. If you have an Xbox One X, leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. It's an amazing console, and I say if you don't have one already, go out and buy it. Even though it is $500, I don't think the price is going to drop for a while, but I mean, the hardware in it is just phenomenal, and it's going to last you a long time, and it's going to run games amazing, and it's just going to be a beast of a console. So yeah, there you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me what you guys think of this in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.